everybody. We are in the midst of November. It's getting close to my birthday time. But November does rock because it is when fall starts getting into full swing.
Can you dig it?
And that's my birthday. And we got Thanksgiving.
Can you dig it?
I can't dig that. And it's a great time to face the music with Prophets of Addiction. We're going to be having the drummer Wayne Stokely on soon. He had something urgent that he had to take care of, so he'll be here in just a little bit. So in the meantime, I am going to talk about a couple of things that I've found recently. First of all, I'm going to change this camera just a skosh, and we'll do it like that. Does that look better? I needed to get Eddie moved back over, but maybe I'll move over or something, whatever it takes to get Eddie in. So recently, I may have mentioned this before. I had a friend who needed some help with a project, and I went over and helped out with that project, with said project. And it was removing stuff from a house that they had purchased, and they're going to be fixing it up and reselling it. So then what I found was there was a load of CDs there and things too. Not a ton, but there was a small bevy of discs. And I had a friend of mine who was there. He's a drummer, and actually he's been on the show from Divine Sorrow, Justin from Divine Sorrow. And we kind of went through these discs, and he took a few and I took a few, and a lot of times they weren't in the cover. But this was a cover that I found, and then I kind of made my own things from it. But it is, look at this, Curtis Mayfield. This is like the 25th anniversary edition, double disc edition of Superfly. So there's a couple of extra things on here. There's some instrumental versions of things that are on here. But then it has Curtis Mayfield doing a quick interview at the end, talking about the film, making of the film. And there's a couple of radio spots that are on here as well. And then also tracks like Check Out Your Mind and Militant March, which is a short piece from the score. So it was really, really cool. And I just loved how it comes apart like this. See how that folds open like that? And there you go. So it's really neat. But I didn't know if the discs were in there when I was opening it up. It is what it is. Metal Torsos here. What is happening today, my friend? Things are moving right along. We're getting our remodeling is coming along. I was able to take down the soffit the other day in the kitchen. That was pretty cool. If you've never done that before, get yourself a Sawzall and a pry bar, and a rubber mallet too. Don't underestimate the power of a rubber mallet when you're doing work, especially when you have other people in the house. So I started it without the rubber mallet. I was going metal hammer on the pry bar, ting, 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 right? I probably should have recorded it, but so that was going on first, and then I got to thinking, I can just as easily bang this crowbar with the rubber mallet and get it going, and it'll be less noise. So that's what I did later on. But we're taking up tile in the kitchen and all that stuff. So put the flooring in. So, but I got that worked out. So almost all the tile is taken care of. So, and we're getting so close to the cabinets coming in. Now I just got to go look for countertops. So I don't remember. I'm trying to remember what the album cover was that came up the other day that I was talking about. Somebody was talking about an album whose artwork was done by Stan Watts. Now, they would not have known that. I just had to chime up and say it because I'm a big Stan Watts fan. He is a gentleman who has done so many cool album covers that when you're looking at them, you can tell that they're paintings and that they're artwork, but they're so realistic looking. It's just amazing. Now, here's one that you would know. Um, I don't know which one came out first, but here's definitely a really, really cool one. There you go. Stan Watts doing Spreading the Disease by Anthrax. Great artwork. And you can see that I mean, it's detailed, very detailed here in the boots, especially folds of the clothes. So, in knowing this artwork, you probably do know more. One of them that really freaked me out is I didn't realize it until I purchased the album not long ago, is the One Night with a Stranger by Martin Briley. There's another one. You can see how photorealistic this artwork is. And it's just crazy. I love this one though. She's there and he spent the night with her and now he's feeling like he's drowning. And the room is actually full of water to him. Um, then here's a few more. I know that when all is said and done, I'm gonna be thinking, oh yeah, I should have pulled that record. But here's one that is in my autograph section. There you go, Night Ranger. When you look really closely, this looks really photorealistic, but when you look really closely, you can tell that these are painted faces. But when you're looking at it, you think that this is a photograph. So it's really, really amazing. I'm using the word really a lot. All right, so here are two of the other ones that you will know. And this one, let's start with this one. There you go, right there. That's an awesome one. Another one from the autographed section. And I'm going to probably do a bunch of, I got to get into doing these shorts. It's just trying to find the time. Although I was talking to my friend Dave today. There you go. This is one where I have a huge, huge poster of this that's autographed by the band. Got it done a long time ago when they were up in my hometown in Peoria. So there you go. Condition Critical. Not as good an album as Metal Health, but it had some merit. I still don't. I still don't quite understand why they recorded another Slade song on the next record. You know, uh, you remember the do you remember the cover for Night Ranger? I'm sorry, Metal. I missed when you were saying that. Night Ranger or Quiet Riot? I mean, I'm sure it's probably either one. You remember either one of those. What I'm going to do, what I really wanted to do was put in Stan Watts here and see all of the covers that he's done. Um, Stan Watts is also evidently an American basketball coach. Stan Watts, illustrator. Here we go. Um, let's see. The art of animation. Wow, there's some interesting stuff. He did an album for Black Flag. He did a cover. Um, hmm, Artwork for sale. I don't know. Let's see if we got some. Oh, let's go. Just go to. I'm sorry. Let's go to images. Um, let's see if I can find some more. Here's a piece that he did of Chuck Norris. He did it for one of the Delta Force posters, I think. Oh, and he did a black and blue cover. Was that their first album? Interesting. And here they're talking about he did another Martin Briley one too. Um, Dangerous Moments. Interesting. Okay. Let's see if we can find album covers, and then we'll see what we got. Let's see here. Oh, that's right. Planet P put out two two albums, and I forgot. Stan did the second album cover. I wonder if I can bring that up. And then what's this one? Oh, he did a George Clinton Parliament Funkadelic album cover with a dog watching television. I wonder if he did that Roger Hodgson album. I don't think he did, but it almost seems like he could have. Trying to see what else here. Uh, yeah, I don't know if, okay. The one I'm trying to find the name of the artist, and I wasn't finding it, is whoever illustrated this. I love this. This is one of my all-time favorite album cover pieces of art. It's just really cool and fun. You know, I mean, fun. You know what I mean when I say fun. It's really, it's an exciting cover. Night Ranger and Riot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're great, great album covers. That's something else I want to start covering too. Is the artwork, um, good or bad? You know what I mean? Sometimes, sometimes it's just not so good. You know what I mean? Um, and I'll get into that later. I don't want to. Let's see if I can pull up this Planet P for you, and see if I can get it in here. See if I can bring it right on in. Planet P. I did find a version of this Planet P. I forgot. I had forgotten that Planet P had um, another album, and that's Tony Carey, by the way, that did the Planet P stuff. Um, let's see if we can bring that in. Blah blah blah. Any other questions you guys might have too while I'm going through this, or anything you want to talk about? Let me know as we are waiting for Wayne to get here. We'll see if we can add this overlay, if it's okay to go. It is. And here we go. All right. So let's see. There it is. Pink World is the name of that second album. Now, I only have the first one. I've never heard this one. I am eager to do so. Another band you would want to check out too is a band called Phenomena, which is um, it has different artists on the different albums, but there are some that are the same all the way through. They stick with it. But let me see if I can Phenomena band. I don't Phenomena. It's one of those bands that is that a word? Wait, how do I spell that? Let's see if we can find this. See if we can get an overview thing. Yeah. So Phenomena is a rock music concept formed by record producer Tom Galley and his brother Whitesnake guitarist Mel Galley. Contributors were leading rock musicians such as Glenn Hughes, Brian May, and John Wetton, amongst others. So, in a cover story run by Kerrang! Magazine in '85, Phenomena's production of rock songs based on a storyline running through a whole album attached to artwork and other multimedia aspects was credited for the return of the concept album in the '80s. Phenomena released 3 albums in the '80s and early '90s and had a #1 hit single in South America with Did It All for Love, while the album charted in Europe, Japan, and Brazil. It was after working together on the second album that Kyoji Yamamoto and Toshihiro Nimi invited Neil Murray to join Vow Wow. Huh. So in total, there are 6 Phenomena albums, 1, 2, and 3. There's Phenomena, which was '85. Then there's Phenomena 2, which is Dream Runner, which is 2 years later in '87. Phenomena 3, Intervision, not Intervision in '93. Then there's Psycho Fantasy, Blind Faith. Psycho Fantasy was 2006, Blind Faith 2010, and Awakening in 2012. So then I think that they did a complete works that came out let's see, what did they do here? There's a Phenomena anthology that came out in 2019. So check them out. I'm sure it's on a streaming. Let's take a look. We can probably find out. Um, we'll see if it's on Spotify. I've been doing this whole big search for and nah. Let's see what we got here. Phenomena. Is this it? Yeah, that's got to be it. Yeah, that's it. So the anthology. Interesting. Oh, there's an anthology piece that is from '85, which is, I think, just like a collection album. Um, but it's amazing all the people who are on these projects. I wish there was more info here about that, but let's see who was on the first one. Oh, well, here you go. Here's the list of a bunch of the people who are a part of this project. And this is what really I loved about it is Cozy Powell was one of the drummers that was a part of this. So Mel Galley, Glenn Hughes, John Thomas, Neil Murray, Ted McKenna, Cozy Powell, Don Airy, Richard Bailey, Ray Gillen. There you go, for those of you out there who love your Badlands stuff. Brian May, Scott Gorham, uh, Kyoji Yamamoto, Lynch Radinsky, and then John Wetton, Leif Johansson, Max Bacon. You might remember Max Bacon as the singer in GTR in 1986. And then past that as well with Robert Barry, Michael Sturgis, Lee Small, and Tony Martin, who, of course, was one of the vocalists for Black Sabbath. So do yourself a favor, though. Check those out. They do have, I do believe that they have everything out here on Spotify. There's Psycho Fantasy and Still the Night and let's see, Inner Vision, Dream Runner, Phenomena, and the Anthology. They all have those out here. So Dream Runner, and what was the third one called? Was that Inner Vision? Yeah. Yeah. So check all those out. They're really, really good stuff, as you can tell. So there's all kinds of those kind of pieces that people working together. It's really amazing. There's also if you haven't checked out the Alan Landy and Russell Allen albums, those are fantastic. The first three are the best. There was another one that came out later which wasn't as strong. I don't believe the first two definitely, so they have the battle, they have the revenge, and it's just really good. Makes me think of the Muppets. Phenomena. Yeah. Phenomena. Doop doo 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 doop. Phenomena. That's a classic. That is a classic. So then here's another piece. I may have mentioned this before, and I'll be looking to get these guys on. We're talking about let's see here. I need my doop 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 doop. I just had it, and why did I just lose it? So we have Michael Messi and Mike Bowie and Greg Schutte and Will Palazzo and Terry Luttrell did this. I think I may have mentioned this before. This REO Classics, and this is live at Shock City Studios in this year. So check this out. It's very good. Again, we were listening to it recently. I'm going to be talking with, getting a hold of Terry Luttrell and seeing who all could be on the show and talk to me about that project because it's really good. And that classic REO stuff, man, really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Let's see what else we have to chat about. One of these times, I am going to go through this. I've got a whole box of photos. I lost one here from this trip that I made, and this was who sent me out there. Have a Hardcore Day. I don't know if this place still exists or not, but Balls Out is the name of it. And they would do t-shirts. I should look that up and see if they're still around. Whoop. All right, Balls Out. See if it still exists. Well, I see the images. Yeah, it's still out there. But it doesn't. It's something else. Interesting. Garmin mount. Oh, well, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Dual mount. Maybe this. No. That's not what it is. Balls Out Printing. But anyway, this was the company that sent me out to Vegas to hang out with the guys who were doing t-shirts and things with these classic bands. So here's let's see if I can remember who all is here. So there's all these folks that were there. This is Richie Rano from Stars, Ron Keel, of course. This is Gary Velasco, and he's great. He was a musician. He had a band, Pin Siren, Pyn Siren. It's pretty cool hard rock stuff. And he also was an artist who did painting. He did kind of recreations of the artwork on the side of airplanes, fighter planes with the women and the artwork. This is Mike Kloschik, who has got his own pain museum. Was a thing he was doing. Then he did a bunch of solo albums, and he also played in Halford, and then would also play in for Sebastian Bach. And of course, this is Frank Domino from Angel. So they were all out there and out there in Vegas. So we went running around. This was at a party night that they were having. There's Stephen Piercy, me and Stephen Piercy back then. And we all met up at the ballroom at the Hard Rock Hotel out there. This is when the guys were kind of hanging out. And this is, I believe this is Don Dokken here and Richie Rano and Frank. So I brought my albums over to Frank and I told him, I said, you know, I just didn't know which ones to bring, which ones that I wanted to bring. So I apologized. I said, so I brought them all. And he signed every one of them. So there's Mike Kloschik there. And that's, this is Jim Paytas. That's the gentleman that I was working with that was doing this Rockstalgia deal. And they were doing all kinds of shirts. So I put together some designs for that. And basically what we were doing was just redoing some designs or coming up with some new designs. So right here, you'll see the Sweet, that's Sweet Desolation Boulevard. That is a piece that I did for him. That I was, you know, it was just a design that I put together based off of the album. And he liked it a lot. And they actually got out to Steve Priest, who said, all right. And I was like, what? And then I found one at the store. I'll wear it on the next show. There I am with Mike Kloschik. He's like talking about wanting to do, at the time he was talking about wanting to do oh yeah, I forgot about that. Wanting to do a t-shirt with the middle finger up, right? And I was like, yeah, that I get it. I get why you want to do that, but I wouldn't buy one because I'm not going to wear that. There's really nowhere I would wear that. So there you go. Chips Enough with Jim and another gentleman there. So that was cool. Probably might be where I met Chip the first time. Let's see who we got here. Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot that Steve was there. I guess Stephen Piercy was there at the show as well. So I'm not sure whoever. Oh, that looks like Randy Jackson from Zebra. And there's Don Dokken there. And Mealy Matievich. This is where I met Mealy. And of course, Jim there again. And Stephen Piercy in there next to Ron Keel. Wow, I forgot they were. Huh. It's pretty trippy. It's amazing what we forget sometimes. Let's see here. What else we got? This is a sweet gal that was working there, and she was bringing. I think she was bringing some waters and stuff or whatever to the area. So I think that's who that was. There's me and Chip hanging out. Look at that. God, what year was that? That's crazy to think about. How long ago? Oh, 06? Oh, 06. That was a few days ago. So yeah, here's one that's talking about, yeah, Metal Mike Kloschik, Richie Rano, and he has Michael Matievich on here. Oh, John Levin was there. And Randy Jackson. Yeah, it was Randy Jackson. Of course, John Levin is the gentleman who was on guitar on those later Dokken albums. So there's the schedule that was up. So it was pretty cool. There's one of the Mike Kloschuk Pain Museum t-shirts designs. Um, there's me and Richie. I'm hoping to have Richie on the show sometime soon. He and I were talking about it recently. There's me and Ron. And there you go. There it is. Proof right there. That's what I was just talking about yesterday on the show, right? Here I am. My name's Stuart, and I got a winger shirt on. I feel like it should be like an AA thing. Hi, my name's Stuart. I'm a winger fan. Oh, here you go. Well, there's me and Frank. All right. Now you ready for this one? He was there too. I did some designs for him. And there you go. Me and Pat Travers. It's pretty cool. I did a Heat in the Street, which is a great record. I tell you what, if you haven't listened to Heat in the Street, Putting It Straight, some of these earlier albums, then you need to hear those, because those are some great records by Pat Travers. And then hopefully he's going to be coming to town soon. And then I don't know I've forgotten what was in here. Oh, they did some Polaroid shots, so I got a Polaroid with Frank. I need to get that autograph someday. I've seen him a few times. I could have had him sign that for me, I suppose. I got to remember that. So anyway, remember, Stan Watts, awesome album covers, incredible stuff. You might have those in your collection. Definitely seek them out. Those are great records. And like I say, I'll be talking about more artists and things like that. Like one of my all-time favorites. Let me know what some of your favorite artists are that have done things on album covers. I still think that one of my all-time, it has got to be right up there at the top. Whether you could number all of them, who knows who did all the artwork of all these albums, but I'll get into that. And I'll just pick a few here and there and do some short stuff about that. But one of my all-time favorites, of course, is the Kiss solo albums. Those are great. And then there's somebody out there, like I say, that did some really cool stuff that made them kind of rough, and they're kind of splotchy here and there. It's really cool. I was doing some artwork the other day, and that's one thing I'm looking forward to doing when I retire, is doing more artwork and bringing stuff to you guys that you can see. I want to set up a board and do some of this artwork with you guys. I think that would be a blast. Such a blast. Moving into the next section. Remember, these are, I just checked it out today. If you're interested with listening to Renee Benton, here is Expressions. I have the first one, and then I'm checking out the second one on YouTube. So check out Expressions and Expressions TOO2, and to listen to his stuff. And then get ready for that live album that's coming out. I do not see Wayne in here yet. So what do we have here? 28 minutes? Yeah. So plenty of the things that are going on. I don't know if anybody else is a Volbeat fan. That's kind of what's playing in the background here. So I kind of was playing the Prophets of Addiction album, and while I was going through this. So it's kind of got, to me, when I was listening to it, like Flavor of Danger is the first track on the album. And when I'm listening to it, it's kind of got a punk feel about the whole album, but it's not the big punk feel that that we're used to. It just is kind of some of it is just got a heavier guitar, but it's very in the vein of Stones, Black Crowes, kind of, but a little harder than that. You know what I'm saying? A little more, I don't know, a little more organic. I don't know, a little more punk nonetheless. And, but good stuff. And Flavor of the Danger is the first song. Let's Get High is next. Slipping Away, Walk the World. Their cover of Maggie May, if you remember that. And let's see, what else we got here. Superhero was a single that they released. I want you to know. Hollywood, Wasted Tears. Let's see what we got. Last One in the Bar and Take Me to Your Leader. There is something too that I'm trying to research as well, and that's a band called 440 Six Pack. They had a drummer named Misha, and I think they were somewhat local. But if anybody's ever heard of that, let me know. I like a lot of Nazareth's covers. So you mean covers of Nazareth or Nazareth covering other people? Um, and it. Oh, you mean the covers of? I'm so sorry. Yes, yes. Let's see what we can find here. Yeah, Frazetta. That's a good one, man, because Frazetta did one of those album covers. Well, I mean, he did the painting that they used. Let's see if we can find some Nazareth real quick here. It is down over here, I believe. Let's see, where are we here? That's all M. Don't tell me it's going to be behind my base. It's got to be up over here. Let's see, what is this? No, that's not. Oh, it's got to be down here. Sorry. I've got a few. Let's see what I'm grabbing here. But yeah, that's nope, too far. Too far. Let's see. It's behind my base. What is this one? That's Mr. Mister, so it's got to be right here somewhere. There you go. What do I have here? That's okay. I don't know. It's like I'm missing something. Well, that's a photograph, but a great record. I've talked about this before. Playing the Game. Definitely listen to that. Nazareth, Playing the Game. But here's what you're talking about, buddy. Right there. This reminds me of it reminds me of the and of course, Iron Maiden. This really reminds me of like Smaug in The Hobbit, that animated one that was done by Rankin and Bass. Yeah, this Hair of the Dog album, what a great cover that is. Um, but there's also I know I've got the other one. It's kind of weird that I don't know where it is. Well, some of these got out of there. It is. Something got out of order. That's the problem. Because here you go. There's the Frazetta. Expect No Mercy. Gotta love it. What a great and they're great records too. Those are three of my all-time favorite Nazareth albums. Now, part of the reason that those are so great is because they were the ones that I listened to back then. I did not own a lot of Nazareth. The only Nazareth we really owned were the other two. We're playing the what is it called? Why do I always get it wrong? Playing the Game, and we also had Hair of the Dog. So those were the two I listened to the most. And then Expect No Mercy came along, and I fell in love with the album cover, so I had to buy it. And I loved it. The whole album is great. And there's some great blues stuff on there that I really want to do in my band too. So, but Maiden, yeah, I mean, you just can't beat the Maiden stuff. Somebody was asking about that the other day. That I noticed online. Derek Riggs is the guy who started that whole thing with them. And how old is he? He's 66 years old. Um, and somebody asked the question, who did the artwork for Iron Maiden? And then somebody was asking, why did he stop? Um, so I don't know about that. I remember asking Steve Harris about him, and Steve Harris back in the day gave me his address at the time, and I was like, "What?" So yeah, Derek Riggs, born February 13th, 1958, born in Portsmouth, England. He's a self-taught artist, both in his traditional painting and in his digital work. He began drawing and painting as early as he can remember. He also attended art school, but he was expelled after complaining about the course. Riggs's most famous achievement is his work with Iron Maiden and his creation of Eddie, the band's mascot and subject of their album and single covers. Um, yeah, that was the beauty of it. There was so many extra artwork, pieces of art that he did to go with every album. So when you get into the early stuff, you've got the piece that where he's I think it's supposed to be Thatcher in the foreground, or the Queen. I think it was Thatcher. Um, and Eddie's running down the alleyway, and she's waiting with a gun. Um, and then there's an extra piece that's got him standing over a victim, uh, very dark. And Women in Uniform was the one where she's waiting with the gun. And then there's of course, let me see. I'm trying to think of the other early stuff that they did. Phantom of the Opera. There was a single for that where Eddie's up on the hill being having the big organ and all that stuff. Then there's when I got into them and they had extra stuff happening was when they did I have the single for it up here. The Flight of Icarus, when they did that one. I have the picture disc for that where he's flying, he's got the wings and the blowtorch is really cool. And so he did so not only did he do the album covers, I mean there was so many subsequent singles and extra artwork that he did. Some of the artwork for covers back then are works of art that should be displayed. And you're absolutely right. Maybe that's what I ought to do. Just come up with a gallery for that kind of stuff. Because there's all, I mean, you have everything from, well, I just showed you this that we were talking about yesterday with the guy who painted this stuff. And then you've got people like Stan Watts who does this realistic style stuff. You've got folks like Derek Riggs who do the big illustration stuff that's their own style. You've got guys that do well, who did the Kiss album covers, which is more like, you know, that Derek or the Stan Watts stuff, where it's a little more realistic representations of these characters and people. And you've got artwork like this, where, you know, you've got the Beatles, you know, back in the Yellow Submarine days, where they do caricatures of the characters of the members of the band. And then all the way to people who do all of this expressionist artwork that showed up on the Living Color albums. Those are, you know, like collages of artwork of different stylings, but it all has the same kind of feel. So it's kind of wild. It's kind of really wild. And then you've got folks like, there we go, that do these, again, illustrations, cartoonish kind of stuff. This is Stuart Dilley, who did this, and he did all of the album covers, and some extra art. He's another one of these guys. Stuart Dilley is one of these guys who did a bunch of extra artwork for the different characters that were along with those album covers. It's kind of cool. Here we go. All right. So hopefully we are going to see Wayne here soon. Trying to think about any other album covers too. Please, if there's something you want to ask, let me know while we're hanging tight for Wayne. There's always plenty to chat about. I'm getting ready for a gig coming up. So what I did was, if you guys remember, well, I can talk about that too. My buddy had a band in high school named Wrathchild. Cool. Another one, my buddies used to use stilts. Oh, he did the stilts for drywall, and they dressed him like Eddie. It blew people's minds at the show. Yeah, I think I may have mentioned it on the show before when the first time I saw Iron Maiden was in '82, and it was on the tour for um, they were opening for Scorpions, and Girls School opened the whole show, which I was just talking to my buddy about Girls School. He saw them recently and was talking to them. And great news. I got some great news coming, but let me finish this first. So Iron Maiden, I saw them on the Number of the Beast tour. So that was Bruce's first tour, and it was their drummer's last tour. And Eddie came out there, and there was so much secondhand smoke coming at me from all the pot that I just had this vision. I think I mentioned this before, but I had this vision of Eddie being by my car when when I went outside. I don't know, it was just going through my head. I'm like, oh my God, what if he's out by my car? Because that was, before they did the next tour that I would see. So that was just him with a leather jacket. And I should see if they have. I'm sure that they've got photos, but I want to know I want to know where they have all these uh, different outfits. I want to know if Maiden's got those somewhere, or if they're ever gonna. Wouldn't it be cool on this Future Past tour to have them coming out with all of the different, costumes? I think that would be really cool. But that's me. Um, so anyway, but that was really cool. But that's when I first saw Maiden. So it was a great show. Um, Also, what do have this gig coming up, so I'm gonna restring my guitar, the one that my friend built me, who passed away. I told you about Rick a while back. Oh, and I should have been wearing his shirt. Next week, I'm gonna wear his shirt. I'm hoping to be talking with Jim Florentine next week. He'll be in town, as I say, for my birthday. Um, and that'll be great. So hopefully we can have Jim Florentine from That Metal Show on. He's going to be doing comedy shows here at the Funny Bone this next week. So, and my buddy's in charge of a lot of that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool. Also, check out one of the album covers that Derek Riggs did too was shoot, what's my Stradivarius. He did their Infinite album cover with it's got the infinity symbol on it, but there's dolphins up there in the design. So I was always wondering what happened to Derek after he stopped doing the album covers for Maiden, and I don't know if they put it in here. So it says in 1992, however, the band decided to accept contributions from other artists for their next album, Fear of the Dark. Okay. All right. Resulting in much less input from Riggs in recent years. For a long time, Riggs did his paintings with acrylics and and alkyd, which is a fast drying oil based paint. However, after realizing the chemicals were affecting his health, he switched to digital painting in the early 90s. His choice of software included Bryce, Strata Studio Pro, and Photoshop. So there you go. Riggs has also designed the cover of World's Only Female Tribute to Iron Maiden, the self-titled debut album by the all-female tribute band, the Iron Maidens. Cool. A piece which was inspired by the Killers album cover, featuring a similarly kinky sex shop, which featured in the Iron Maiden artwork. There you go. He did the Accident of Birth album cover as well for Bruce Dickinson, which has the puppet of the jester. And let's see, our attention on their 2004 album Future World and Gamma Ray's Power Plant album cover. Cool. All right. So yeah, here, I'll show you this one again. Got the Vinnie Moore album cover. But you may remember me showing you this custom guitar that I designed. That was done by my buddy Rick. And so what I'm going to do is, you see I'm missing my E string here. So I'm going to restring this. I just, in that same place that I got that CD cover for the Superfly album, I also found some bass strings there. So I'm going to restring this baby and plug her in and see how she sounds. And I may play it at my next gig in honor of my buddy Rick. So hopefully that'll work out. And otherwise, I'm just going to keep plugging along with the house. But if there is, again, if there's anything you want to ask me, go ahead, throw it up here, and we'll do it. And we'll talk about it. There's plenty to talk about. Always plenty to talk about. Another thing that I found recently is, are you, anybody out there a Paul McCartney and Wings fan? I did, I kind of made some compilation parts myself. You all have probably done that over the years. These days we just make playlists and we play them digitally. But, you know, back in the day we made tapes out of all the music that we have. So I have all this Paul McCartney stuff. So I did a couple volumes of Wings music myself, and my hand done artwork on these sucks, but you know, it is what it is. My handwriting's not always the best. Something else you want to, again, a reminder to check out a band called Circuline. I'm going to be going through all of this stuff. Here's Counterpoint. I did a big purchase through their website. This is some great prog rock music. And Andy's been on the show before. And here they are right here, Circuline. And this is Andy right there, who also works with another gentleman that's been on the show before, Bob Richardson, who is the keyboard player in Hybrid Ice. So if you haven't checked out Hybrid Ice yet, do that. So there you go. There's the inside of that one. So I'm going to do big deep dives into this stuff and talk about that soon. Here's their live Blu-ray, DVD, CD. You got to love that. So I am dying to check this all out. There's a lot here. And there you go. It's a live Blu-ray CD at the Majestic. So plenty to go through. And if there's anything else you guys think you want me to cover too, there's also another band I've been getting into. It's a band called Redemption. So make sure you check those guys out too. It's pretty heavy. And I'm going to see if it says Redemption is an American progressive metal band based in Los Angeles, currently signed to AFM Records. The band current lineup includes members of several nationalities. So there you go. Let me see if we can find this, find out more about, a little bit more about Redemption here before. Also remember about the Toby Jepson stuff. Tonight I'm going to be going through the new album Lookout. There's also a great piece you can check out on his webpage where he's just got this huge sale of all of his works, his solo stuff that he's been doing through the last few years. And I'm trying to remember where I had that pulled up. Let's see. I'm not seeing it right off the bat. Yeah. I'm also looking into buying this book, Louder Than Hell. It's the definitive oral history of metal by John Wiederhorn. I've had it in my cart for a little while here. Also, I'm looking into this David Gemmell, who did the book Legend, the Draenei Tales, book 1. So I'm looking forward to reading some of that too. That was suggested to me by Stuart Corden. So if you like fantasy stuff and action, there it is. So they have the From the Angels to the Suns and everything in between, Toby Jepson stuff. So he's got everything from Viewfinder to his digital busker music to Sticks and Stones, um, and the Toby and the Whole Truth, the very first album that he did under that, Ignorance is Bliss. And he's got the Toby Jepson Little Angels live rarities. So definitely check those out. Normally, all of that would be like $184, but it's almost half price. I guess it is half price. He's got it at $92. So so I am looking into wanting to get that. Sticks and Stones, the book as well. So, but let's see if we can find out a little bit more about Redemption. And then hopefully Wayne will be popping in here soon. Redemption band. All right, here we go. Redemption is an American progressive metal band based in Los Angeles. Oh, LA, big thing. Yeah, we just said that. Band's current lineup includes members of several different nationalities. So members currently are Tom England, Nick Van Dyke, Sean Andrews, Chris, how do you say that? Quirarte, and Vikram Shankar. And Jason Rulo used to be in that band. James Sherwood, Rick Mathiasen, Bernie Versailles, Greg Hasharian, and Ray Alder. New Jersey-based independent label Sensory Records, associated with many up-and-coming progressive metal bands and responsible for signing Riverside, Delane, there you go, and Circus Maximus, there you go, among others. Signed Redemption to a 2-year deal. The band was invited to perform at Prog Power USA 4 in 03 at Center Stage. Then it was called Earthlink Live in Atlanta, Georgia, with Versailles now a member, but with Rulo being unavailable to perform due to commitments to Symphony X. Van Dyke scouted Los Angeles-based progressive metal band Primary and met drummer Chris Quarte. There you go. So they have a lot of records. They have Origins of Ruin, which was in 2007 on Inside Out. They have Frozen in the Moment, live in Atlanta from 2008. Snowfall on Judgment Day. That's the first album I was checking out, which was 2010. Oh, look at that. That's why it sounded familiar. Huh. Okay, so Undaunted, Van Dyke recorded Alder's vocals and traveled to Toronto, Canada to record a guest vocal performance from James Labrie of Dream Theater before disclosing his illness to his bandmates and telling them of his intent to battle the disease. He took a leave of absence from work and underwent extensive chemotherapy for several months at the Melanoma Institute for Research and Therapy at the University of Arkansas. Wow. Wow. All right. Then there's This Mortal Coil and Live from the Pit was 2010 to 2014. The Art of Loss in 16. Long Night's Journey into Day in 18. And then they had a Prog Power 19 in 2020 and I Am the Storm in 21. So there you go. And they have their little bar graph down below, which tells you who was in the band and when. So, but Redemption, check them out. It's good stuff. I'm looking forward to highlighting some of these bands as we go. Oh, somebody was from Tommy Newton. The band traveled to, I don't know how you pronounce that, Seal, Germany, to work with producer Tommy Newton, who worked with Conception. Some of you might remember Conception was a band that had jeez. Why can't I say his name now? He was the vocalist, Khan, from yeah, they're right there from Camelot. That's terrible. Yeah, that's kind of wild. Yeah, Roy Khan was in that band. Did great work with Conception. If you haven't heard Camelot, you got to check them out. If you haven't heard Conception because you dig Roy Khan, check out Conception. Great stuff. Um, of course, one of my other favorite bands that I always talk about too is Machine Men. If you've never heard Machine Men, check them out too. The lead singer was a big fan of Iron Maiden and Bruce Dickinson, and just would always wanted to have his own band. So he put one together, and it kicked ass. And they are a Finnish band um, that originally formed as an Iron Maiden cover band. Vocalist Tony Parvian. Wow, here we go. I'm really testing myself today. Tony Parvianen, Parvianen started singing in '98 with inspiration from Bruce Dickinson. Machine Men took their name from a song present on Dickinson's Chemical Wedding. Yep, that's right. After a 2-year hiatus, the band broke up in 2011 due to lack of interest from the members. So that sucked because they were really good. So they had the EP, which just Machine Men EP, and then there was Scars and Wounds, Elegies, and then Circus of Fools is the one that I heard first, and that was the last one in 2007. So do check those out. So good. They have extra tracks on the Japanese bonus tracks, Till the End of Her Days and October, acoustic version of October, which that's on Elegies. I have since heard all these albums, but um, my favorite is Circus of Fools, which I think is great. When you get to a point in your career where you're releasing your third full length record and people are digging it, and it's really good, there's just, you know, how much better can you be, and then they gave up the ghost. Now, I do want to talk about Crucified Barbara a little bit too, because as I was saying, I was talking to my friend Dave Tedder just a little bit ago, and he was saying about um, he was talking about we got to talk about Crucified Barbara because Crucified Barbara is one of those bands that I learned about, and as soon as I learned about them, they broke up. So Crucified Barbara are an all-female Swedish hard rock and heavy metal band formed in Stockholm in '98. They have some earlier albums. Let's just kind of talk about those a little bit. They have In Distortion We Trust, Till Death Do Us Party. How about that? And The Midnight Chase is the album that got me. So In Distortion We Trust, 2005, Till Death Do Us Party, 4 years later, in 2009. The Midnight Chase was 3 years later in 12, and then that's kind of wild. In the Red came out in 2014. That's when my friend Dave was working with them. I was familiar with them on the Midnight Chase. I found it at the library, fell in love with it. And the next thing I know, they have In the Red came out a couple of years later after I'd been pouring over In Distortion and Till Death. And so I'd been eating up those three albums. And then In the Red came out. I was back at the library, and here's In the Red. I'm like, whoa, wait, what? And so sure enough, and then I got on the internet and I found out they broke up. I'm like, no. So I was just talking to my friend though, and he said that they have a reformation thing. So I guess it's on their Facebook page, I think is where he saw that. So if I go there, let's see what we find out. Let's search for Crucified Barbara. And at first he said, "Oh, but I don't think it's all the originals." He goes, "No, it is all the originals." So yeah, they still got a page out there. It's been a while. They say, "Dear all," this is from just recently on October 18th. Crucified Barbara, "Dear all, it's been a while to say the least. Our last gig was almost 10 years ago. Jeez. The break has been much needed for all of us, but our love for our music, for each other, and for audience has never faded during these years. Next year is the 20th anniversary of the release of In Distortion We Trust, and we want to celebrate with you. We'll do this by playing the best tunes from our 4 albums live next summer. Our reunion will debut at Sweden Rock Festival, taking place June 4th through the 7th, 2025. We've already had some magical moments in the rehearsal room and are amazed at how our music still lives within us, longing to be played. We can't wait to perform live for you again. Mia, Clara, Ida, and Nikki. Crucified Barbara. That's pretty freaking cool. Yeah. So I'm trying to see here if we can, would be neat if we could show this here. Um, yeah. So definitely get into them. You know, they stand out to me like so many of these other newer bands like Thunder Mother. Check out the Amorettes. Now, I don't know why the Amorettes are not in okay, so I am already following Crucified Barbara. Oh, and I can message them. Yay. All right. So I'm going to message them soon and see if I can get them on the show. That would be fantastic. Along with Burning Witches, that'd be great. And Thunder Mother. But yeah, I'm going to check out the Amorettes. I don't know why it is this way, but the Amorettes' latest piece was their latest album had been on Spotify. Now it's not. I don't know what the deal is. So let's check and see. Let's check in and see what's going on with the Amorettes out of the UK. So they have a post here. Where's this is from October 2nd. And wow, okay. So did a thing and it's out now. Okay. It was such an honor to be invited to be part of Hold Me Up. Absolutely cracking the New Roses. There's another good band I've heard about. Such a lovely bunch of very talented gentlemen. Absolute pleasure, and I had a blast. Okay. So I'll find out about the Amorettes and see what they're doing. But I think I may have put I put a link of their video. Everything I learned from rock and roll is a great song. But yeah, the Amorettes. Let's see if I don't know if they have a. I'll give you this. I'll just copy this and put this in here. And you guys can check them out. Oh, now come on. There we go. So there's their Facebook page. Really nice, powerful trio of women. Just awesome stuff. Oh, now come on. There we go. I wonder if Wayne's gonna make it today. I'll have to wrap up here soon. The Amorettes. There we go. So they released their first album, Haulin' Ass, in 2010, and their second album, Game On, which was produced by Chris Sangarides, which I knew. I've known about Chris Sangarides' albums only in only a few of those albums. So now I know this one. But back in the day, I saw the album cover and I picked it up, and it was the Tigers of Pantang. He produced Tigers of Pantang back then, and then the other album that I knew, and this is going to come up with in another show that I'm going to kind of redo. I'm going to reshape this episode that I did years ago, and but he produced Painkiller by Judas Priest. So it was a moment for Judas Priest after they had been working with Tom Allen for so many years that boom, all of a sudden they worked with Chris Sangarides to do that album. So it was pretty cool. And I apologize, guys, for not having our guest here again today. Everything works out and it's all good. It's just sorry about that one again. Let's see. So their Haulin' Ass album was recorded in Livingston and released independently in 2010. So let's see. Then Game On. Let's see, alongside the release of the Fire at Will EP, which included live recordings and demos, the Amorettes recorded their second album, Game On, in 2014 with experienced producer Chris Sangrides. Let me see here. On February 2nd, the band performed a track from the album Rock Me, Roll Me live on the Fountain Bridge show on STV Edinburgh. Let's see here. The album was released. Here you go. Here's another band for you. The album's release was followed by the tour with Black Star Riders in Europe in March. Then shows in the Netherlands, including a festival on the 18th of April. There you go. Returning to Scotland, the band supported Ash in Montrose on May 22nd and Blackstone Cherry. So yeah, check out the Black Star Riders. Basically, it's Thin Lizzy, and they were writing a whole bunch of songs and decided that they wanted to release these songs, but they didn't want to do it as, they had made a decision not to do it as Thin Lizzy. They decided to do it as Black Star Riders, change the name, do it fresh, and damn, it's killer stuff. In fact, my band is going to be doing a cover of a cover that they did. We're going to be covering their cover of a classic hit song. And you may, if there's somebody out there that knows what I'm talking about, let me know. If you do, good on you. White Hot Heat. The band's third album, White Hot Heat, was recorded at Leaders Vale Studios in 2016. Let's see, produced by Luke Morley and engineered by Nick Brine. The album was released on June 27th. Yeah. Okay. So Morley also co-composed 3 of the songs on the album with Ricky Warwick contributing to another. This first single, Let the Neighbors Call the Cops. Great song. Morley stated, I think we've captured something really special with the album, and I think it will surprise a lot of people. The Amorettes, man, they're great. Like I say, let's see, 2018 or 2017, the reissue of Haul and Ass. And then Born to Break. That's the album. That was the newest one that I knew of. That's in 2017, I guess. Released worldwide in 2018, and they supported Dead Daisies. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let me see. Oh, they had a lineup change. All right. In 2019, Montgomery announced via the Amorettes Facebook page, the bassist Heather McKay and drummer Hannah McKay had amicably parted company with the band. In June, Hannah McKay joined Scottish hard rock band She Burns Red. All right, so we got to check them out. And she left in July 2020. Oh, having recorded the Take Back Tomorrow EP with them. In September, she and Heather McKay joined Dundee pop new wave group Echo Machine. So you can check them out too. So She Burns Red and Echo Machine. On the 7th of March in 2019, a new quartet lineup of the Amorettes was announced as Montgomery joined forces with rhythm section of UK-based rock trio Tequila Mockingbird. So we got to check them out, who had recently parted company with their guitarist, vocalist. The remaining members of both bands combined in order to fulfill all their touring commitments. Drummer Josie O'Toole and Australian bass guitarist Jacinta J joined Montgomery in the Amorettes alongside Laurie Buchanan from Aaron Buchanan and the Cult Classics as rhythm guitarist. The same 4 musicians were also to perform throughout 2019 at Tequila Mockingbird shows with Montgomery on vocals and guitar. So there you go. First show of the lineup. Let's see. O'Toole and Buchanan was in the Netherlands, and the band returned to the Dij Croc Festival. The same trio performed, at the Terrorvision. All right. So the band was inactive from December 2019, and the remaining members formed a new group during 2020, during an inactive period for the music industry due to COVID-19. Montgomery, O'Toole, and Buchanan formed the Hot Damn, along with bass guitarist Lizzie Hayes from New Device Sophie Lloyd Band, and announced the new band during the November 2020. Okay, so there's no more Amorettes, I guess. I guess there's no more Amorettes. It's the Hot Damn with an exclamation point. So we got to check that out. Oh my God. Um, yeah, that's going to be crazy. All right. So wait a minute. No, that's okay. So that's old. All right. Crazy. All right, guys. I don't know. I think I might have to call it. This is going to go way over time here, and I don't know, man. We'll get to this. I guess we'll have Wayne on sometime. I'm gonna have to change, start changing all of this stuff. If anybody else has anything else you want to ask me before I go, um, we'll get this rolling. Yeah, I guess there was. So, always tell me about some of your favorite bands. Some of those things can spur me on to know, you know, what to talk about. And please do not hold back. If you got something, I know I talk about hard rock on here a lot. That's just what I know a lot about. But I mean, I know a lot about Beatles stuff. I know, this Curtis Mayfield Superfly album. I love that stuff. So if there's anything else you want to know about, you want to talk about, let me know about that. We just like I say, I was kind of down about the fact that I missed out on seeing Frankie Beverly before he passed. Um, when Maze was just appeared here. So there's a lot of music that I just really like, and that I'll be covering here on the show. I was looking back at some of my old shows and going through some of the people who were on those shows. So um, so it so I've got a wide scope, that's for sure. There was a thing that I threw my hat in the ring for another podcast recently, but it doesn't look like that's going to work out, just because they were vetting somebody else already, and it sounded like that was already going to work out. So, but I'll be covering all kinds of different stuff here. So let's keep in touch and keep talking and keep checking us out. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification deal, because that's how we can move forward here. Tell your friends. Let's get these numbers up, man. That'd be great. I would really appreciate it. And I hope it'll be to your benefit too. Like I say, I'll let you in on. I'll get some footage together while I'm changing the strings on this bass and talk about it a little bit. Vengeance Guitars was the name of my buddy's company, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Also, you know what? Here's something else I want to let you in. I have to kind of redo these because I already laminated them. Damn it! And for whatever reason, my measurement was off. So when I was doing these um, for my vinyl things, I did all these laminates, and then I checked it, and it was like short by like a quarter inch or so. So I'm like, ugh. I mean, I could cut down the things, I suppose. I wouldn't have to redo them all, but I already kind of stretched them. I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe I'll just cut them down a little bit and still use these. There's no real reason why I want to waste uh, a bunch more laminate stuff to do that. But I will have these dividers, and maybe we'll kind of do that together. And because I think you might like that if we do that together. I always like doing things like that together, but we'll see how it goes. Um, I guess that's about it, folks. So we'll get Wayne on the show, and we'll talk about this stuff hopefully soon. And Hope you've enjoyed this talk, though, going through some artists from different bands that have done some things. If you're not into Volbeat yet, do check out Volbeat and see what you think. They're on right now. I can hear them in the background. So that's another band that was kind of wild. I got into them by chance, and they opened up for Nightwish, and then I got into them. This has been years ago, and before Fleur Jansen started with them, we saw Annette there, but yeah, I got into Volbeat. My daughter really enjoyed it too, so I was listening to them, and then I went on a little road trip with a friend of mine, and he was playing me a bunch, and I was like, dude, who is this? And he's like, it's Volbeat. I'm like, dude, I saw them live. And I said, hook me up. I think I mentioned that before. And then I just bought it all. And I love it still. Thanks, Torso. I really appreciate that. It's good to know that, the stuff here just keeps coming. There's one thing I can't stand. It's just sitting still, And if I told you I'm going to have a show, damn it, I'm going to have a damn show. So, again, my apologies again for my guest, and looking forward to talking with him sometime soon. But next week, hopefully, I'll be talking to Jim Florentine, and we'll have some special things on for you. Otherwise, I have something special that I want to do with you guys next week. It's going to be the first of many, and it's going to be something new that we can do and have a lot of fun together. Like I say, I'm gonna, as soon as this big renovation stuff is finished, then I'll be concentrating on my tech savviness here and doing some cool stuff with you too then. So, all right, guys. Well, you enjoy the rest of your evening. If you would like to join me again, I'll be back on a little bit later, as always, with my buddy Super Jeff. And we're going to be doing Go Game Go tonight. So you can check that out. Like and subscribe, so we'll be doing some more cool stuff. In the meantime, enjoy your evening and take care. Just remember, here's the new album. There it is there. Prophets of Addiction, Face the Music. And their bassist used to be with Ozzy, Phil Soussan. All right, guys, take it easy, and hopefully we will have Wayne Stokely on sometime soon. Take it easy.